Good morning to those of you here on the paddock and those of you watching live at home, wherever you may be. Good morning for, main event Sunday here at Dallas Kart Complex for round before the Texas Racing Series. The MidSummer Mashup. As always, my name is Caleb Fiesta, alongside me here in the booth. The one and only Rocco Ruzic. And from all of us here at the Kart Racing team, it's always a good time to be out here and having a good time and enjoying some warm-up action here this morning. Your Micro Swifts out on the racetrack here today and lapping around at the moment. Your field, 8 drivers total. The likes of Tyler Blackwood from Brown in his debut Micro Swift race. Victor Gus Wonderlay as well. Casey Sanders, Kimo Ahmad, Dutch Westbrook, Rodolfo Garza, who had a career best finish yesterday, finishing 4th. And Nayeli Vargas as well, who did a pretty good job throughout the heat races. And again, some of our youngest competitors here this weekend, but it's always a good time when we see them come out here and race and have a good time like we all do here at Rocket. So again, what are your thoughts on the weekend so far? I know it's been, I guess you could say, your 4th weekend on the mic, and been a pretty good one, to say the least, right? There's been a lot of racing action, a lot of action in K800 Senior as well this weekend. But what's it like, I guess, coming back finally to some in-season TSRS racing action?
That was good, you know. I mean, we kind of had a little bit of a taste of TSRS with IKF whenever we went to Amarillo, you know. But it wasn't, you know, like how, I mean, we had a bunch of drivers that came around, you know, some that I wasn't too familiar with, and it was a little, you know, difficult for me. But you know, we're back and we have the original crew, or the original paddock, you know.
Yeah.
It's a little bit easier on me. I don't have to be looking up to the ticker every now and then. But yeah, for sure. I'm always happy to come out here to the TSRS Racing series, and you know, no matter what I'm doing, if I'm a camera guy, when I used to drive, or now commentating, it's always a good time for everybody.
Yeah, no, for sure. And for those of you watching at home, let us know where you're watching from. Where, I guess if you're at breakfast, nice Benedict. I like Benedict, but if you're at home eating whatever you're eating, watching some kart chase from the morning, it's a great way to start your morning, you know. Turn the TV on, wake up, roll out of bed, turn some kart chaser on, you know, and get the day rolling. So that's how it is for us almost every weekend, it seems like now. But it's always a good time. You know, we always say, we talk about the burnout, we talk about whatever, but we spend a weekend away from the racetrack and could not wait to get back. And I know it's the same way for a lot of these racers that come out here and race week in, week out. So again, it's super great to see everybody in and around the paddock, especially, you know, myself and yourself. You know, I have allegations against myself that I'm a little Texas biased, and I understand it, I get it, but you would argue that Alex Turtle is Florida biased, and people would argue that Emery Lida is North Carolina biased. So, you know, that's, I guess, jokes in between me and those guys. But yeah, this is I guess our bread and butter here in our grand state of Texas. So it's always good to see a lot of racers that you know we saw throughout the club series and kind of develop in that as well. Come out here to some regional racing action. Maybe even see some of the national races as well, which has been some of the fun parts as well. And yeah, it's been super interesting for all of us to kind of see and watch the growth of a lot of these young boys and girls. So one of those specifically on our screen now, Dutch Westbrook, who had a really good day yesterday, putting himself with 2 heat race victories. And today, obviously, heat race number 3 is coming your way next after your warm-up session. That is for KC Premium members only. So again, for $9.99 a month, become a KC Premium member and watch all the racing action live until if you subscribe today, which is August 25th. You'll get it until September 25th of the following month, and you'll be able to catch the IMH Grand Nationals next week, which is a super, super cool event that you're not going to want to miss, and you're going to want to be a KC Premium member for, because there's a lot of cool stuff coming our way. And I always say, you know, Netflix nowadays is about 100 and it's expensive, you know, and then you're only allowed a certain number of devices to be added. I just got kicked out of my dad's account this week, so that was, you know, a wake-up call. Time to get myself a new Netflix. And cable TV as well. It's pretty expensive, you know. But Kart Chase is only $9.99, so it's a good investment, and you can hand it out to your friends and give it out to you know, whoever you want to, and it's good. It's only more people watching, more eyes are watching what we do with that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, Micro Swift just got wrapped up here, and the fastest lap times were for Dutch Westbrook, who was the quickest driver there in that initial session. Coming up next, your Honda Kit Karts. It was a good race for those drivers yesterday. Let's pop up that schedule here on the bottom of your screen to take you throughout the day. Again, today we start. This was yesterday's schedule, actually, but today's schedule is going to be obviously 8 a.m. We started with our warm-up sessions, the first one done and dusted. At around 9:10 is going to be the rest of our races. I believe there's a little bit of a schedule change as well, so everything's going to be moved up just about 10 minutes, and then obviously at the end of the day, about 15 minutes are going to be the time slots with the 206 Heavy and 206 Juniors running together now. So that's going to be how that's going to play out later on today, and I think we should be done by 4:15. But I guess this is one of the issues that we faced throughout the weekend, the timing loop here. Going through the main straightaway, and the wires unfortunately have been suffering a little bit of I guess the race action, and race director Matt, our flagman here this weekend, and our timing director Tom are always on and doing a good job here this weekend, and keeping everybody safe and keeping everybody nice and timed as well. So that's always a good thing. And while they fix up that loop for us, we'll take our first commercial break of the day. When we come back, your Honda Kit Karts get set to go green.
So you finally want to get behind the wheel, huh?
Yeah, I've been shooting for 3 years and I've never got to drive.
Well, you're going to need some more gear than just your helmet. Why don't you go to shopakr.com. They got their inventory online and they'll ship it the same day if you order before 5:30 p.m. Eastern.
They got shoes?
Yep.
Gloves?
Yep.
Rib protectors?
Got those too.
Can they make me go fast?
No.
Here at Acceleration Kart Racing, we've got everything you need to get on track. What happens next? Well, that's on you. Check us out online at shopakr.com.
But I mean.
Back to the on-track action. Your Honda Kid Kart's out on the racetrack now. Yesterday it was all about the kid up that front dusty sprayer who swept, I guess you could say, the day on a Saturday afternoon, winning both of his heat races and qualified on the pole position. So that was your fast lap qualifier. And I think for now, if he finishes inside the top three, he has the pole position solidified for the main event. So for Dusty, it's been a good day, and for the rest of the drivers as well. And again, I mean, this is one of the best and most interesting classes that we see week in, week out. And we're always excited to see them go out there on the racetrack and always have a good time. You know, these are the kids that either forget their gloves when they go out, have their dads put their helmets on, strap them up for them, and you'll see them running around, kicking a sandal around, playing soccer later on in the weekend as well. So it's always interesting to see them out there on the racetrack and to see them off the racetrack as well, because that's a whole different story, you know, to see them, because they're so focused and so determined when they're on it and when off it. They're running around, you know, eating candy, drinking Gatorade and whatnot.
Wasn't it Neil who put the glove on that one kid cart that one time?
Yeah, that was Neil on a clip on Casey Grassroots that posted a while ago on the Instagram page and Facebook page as well. So again, for those of you guys at home and for those of you in the paddock, if you want to keep up with, I guess, all of the clips for all the videos, Kart Chaser Kids is our kids page for our junior drivers and under. So the Honda Kid Karts, the Micro Swifts, the Mini Swifts, and the KA Juniors and the 206 Juniors as well. And then we have our KC Grassroots page where we post all the senior categories, the Masters, the Shifter, KA, and 206 Senior as well. So that's where you can find any social media posts of ours, and as well on our main page on Kart.Chaser on Instagram and Facebook and whatever, anything under the sun. TikTok, we'll follow us on TikTok as well if you have it. Stuff on there as well. So if you guys ever get bored, just scroll through it, and the TikTok especially, you know, sometimes I find myself, you know, not able to sleep at night, or let's say I'm in my college apartment and I'm, you know, bored or just finished a long assignment. Sometimes I scroll through the Kart Chaser TikTok for hours and find some old gems that are always so interesting. It's I think you mentioned it yesterday. It's almost like brain rot, some may say, and yeah, it definitely is. So that's not the example we want to set for all these kids, and it's also like a cool thing about it as well, right? Because a lot of these kids are out here, they could be at home sitting down playing video games, playing on an iPad or whatnot. Me, myself, I didn't, I wasn't, what is that term? iPad kid or
iPad
what do they
kid,
say? So, yeah, I wasn't one of those. I was always out playing around, playing soccer or going to a park or doing something, riding my bike outside and whatnot. And all these kids, man, they're out here running around all day in the heat, 100-degree weather, going up to 40 miles an hour and wrecking, passing, and doing everything under the sun all in a weekend. So again, huge shout out to all their parents as well here this weekend who were able to get them out here to have a good time, and to all the coaches who are coaching all these kids who we know one day are going to turn into great young men and women. So we're going to see everybody having a good time this weekend as well. The vibe this weekend has been pretty good, Rocco, wouldn't you say? I mean, everybody seems in good spirits and just happy to be back at another race this year.
Yeah, I mean, once we got done with the stream yesterday and we went to go hang out in the pits, everybody came across. Everybody was, high spirits, talking crap and whatever. And yeah, I mean, hopefully the same thing carries out today. I mean, sadly, it's the last day. I know that some people are ready for that, but some people are also enjoying themselves out here. So, all power to them.
Yeah. It's always a good time, especially on a Sunday like this. You see a lot of teams kind of half tear down during the day and pack your tools up early for your driver, goes out to the main event, and then have everything ready just to, hook up the trailer and then book it out of here. Because everybody's from around here as well. I mean, ourselves going home tonight as well. Want to sleep in our own beds because it does get taxing whenever you're at a racetrack on Thursday all the way to the Monday and the travel day and whatnot. So, it's regional. We're here to have fun. And we're here to I guess, hand out some trophies, and then next week as well hand out the main series trophies there. But you're on to Kid Karts, all done and dusted here for their morning warm-up session. When we see them later on today, they're going to be racing in heat race number 3. And in the main event, Dusty Strayer picks up where he left off yesterday at 112.399 this morning. He's running around with Wiley Lee, who ran at 112.665. So those two drivers, the fastest so far. Bodie Bayer, Shep Sullivan, and Holden Henson as well have been super quick there inside of the top 5. Caden Tudor, Beckley Anderson, Rayfall Lee, Hayden Sampson are 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th respectively. Liam Lofton, Trevor Knight, and Vettel Baker 10th, 11th, and 12th here in this morning session. In a couple of moments, our mini Swifts get set to come out onto the racetrack. We'll go quite on the airwaves. Keep you guys posted when they make their way out onto the racetrack. And as I say that, they make their way out now. Your mini Swifts out on the racetrack here now, ages around 9 to about 12 years old for a lot of these drivers. These are kind of the drivers that find themselves in the last little bit of the last stage of kind of cadet karting until they get themselves into junior karting, which is a much wider go-kart, much wider rear tires, and a lot of differences, a lot of faster speed, and probably a little bit of more aggressive racing.
Yeah, back whenever I was racing, I could never figure out which one was which, micro or mini. So, and I mean, now the order goes, Kid Kart, micro, and then mini. I mean, we just had both. All 3 of these classes go out, and all of them go out. They all go out first, is what I'm trying to say. So you had Brown in micro now. I mean, he's a kid who just came out from Kid Kart, so that's a product of Kid Kart. All these kids started, or not all of them, but a vast majority most likely started in Kid Karts, and it shows you how we have some of our best racing in the Swift classes, and it all comes because they start at such a young age, and they already have so much experience. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you talk about experience, you talk about this kid right here, Royce Vega in the Benek machine. Probably one of the most experienced drivers in this field, has had a good stint this year running the National Series and putting himself in championship contention, and maybe becoming a national champion in many Swift categories across the nation. He's gone out to race the Stars Championship Series, the United States Pro Kart Series, and the SCUSA Pro Tour Championship as well. So this kid here is definitely going to be the star in the making. He already is the star, I should say, but could even turn into an even bigger one
in a couple of years here. As well for Alex Chandler, Liam Nachawati, and everybody else in this class. We see Simon Klein so many times throughout the year. Igor Bezo, Rock Florida Winter Tour champion earlier on this year. And that's his teammate there, Chandler, making on Liam Nachawati. But, you know, all these kids they show us week in, week out, and they surprise us with how good they are with racing and how good they are with passing and pushing and the class that they show. I think me and Xander kind of alluded to it on a race a while ago, that this is a very, very classy individuals and very classy young men and women as well. So, yeah, it's super great to see them out here every single weekend. It's always a great time. And we're having a great time here this morning. Again, this is warm-up sessions for your mini Swifts here out on the racetrack. And Royce Vega able to get ahead of Alex Chandler here. Bronco, I mean, I have to ask, you know, you're obviously not, you know, we both, I guess you could say, had late starts to our racing career. But if you go back and do it all over again, would you start in the Honda Kid Kart class? Would you start in the mini Swift class? Would you start in the micro Swift class and go up from there?
Yes, I've always wondered what a kid kart, like, the perspective feels like. I mean, it must feel like, it must be normal to them. I feel like you're just so low.
Yeah.
And I wonder how fast it feels to them, you know? I feel like when you're smaller, it must feel incredibly faster. But yeah, I would start at 4 years old, dude. I would go as early as I could if I had the chance.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that I always think about is, you know, there's a lot that comes into the sport. There's a lot that can happen week in, week out, you know, and we never wish for that, but as a racer, you have to kind of think about it. And I always think about, you know, one day when we have kids, are we going to start them in kid kart? And how do you get them focused? How do you get them in line? And how do you get them to, you know, to get that fear out of them when they want to go out to the racetrack? And to see 12 kids and all these kids in this class as well, in the micro Swift class, to kind of come out here, put the pedal to the metal, full throttle, going around here at about 50 miles an hour is absolutely insane to me even. You know, because even me sometimes, I get scared sometimes whenever I hop in a K100 or a road tax, because those things can rip. And I can only imagine being half the size, maybe 1/3 of the size for some of these guys, and going, I guess, the same speed.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in this class. But still a smaller frame to the full-size chassis. This is a cadet frame that you see the kids from 9 to 12 use, and then once they move up, they get the full-size frame, which is usually what the junior classes, senior classes use. So it's a bit cheaper than the full-size frames, just by a little bit. So if you're looking to get your kid into racing, it might be the time to do it while they're young, because it's a little bit cheaper on the budget. But you know, racing's never cheap. I should say that. It's a fair warning. If you want to make a small fortune in racing, you got to start with a big one.
It's also they should definitely label it as well. It's definitely very addictive as well. Racing, you know, for us as well. Every week, whenever, you know, people are out here or whatever, and we're dying to get back to the racetrack, right? We have a weekend off, and we always say this, like, oh, I could use a week off. You know, I could use a week away from the racetrack. And that week, you're thinking about either racing, you're thinking about go-karts, you're thinking about working here, you know, for us, and doing what we do week in, week out, because it's always such a good time to be at a racetrack and see racing and to see some really good racing as well. And this year has been super good for the sport, and it continues to grow. You have more and more drivers making their way into the lower ranks as well, so it's always cool to see everybody work their way through the ranks and see everybody in good spirits as well. But that being said, checkered flag in the air this time by for your mini Swift class. Pasha Ali, the quickest driver on the racetrack, 54.337. Nico Orbezo at 54.364. A lot of pace this morning for Orbezo. Kate Casper, third. Hughes, fourth. And Liam Nachawati rounding up your top 5 here. So again, the left-hand side of your screen is set up by position on the racetrack. When we go into racing action, obviously that is going to change, but we are ready to racing here today, and issues for Luke Cruz out of the gate, who had a really good showing yesterday. He's going now. Looks to be all right for that TB Kart South driver, but everybody else, this KA Junior class has definitely provided us with some great racing action. About 22 drivers total here this weekend on what's been an up and down weekend. Yesterday in the second heat race, all these drivers were scattered all over the racetrack. There was some in the lead group, about 1 or 2, and then there was you know, a couple of the leaders that were all the way back in 13th as one driver spins around. That's one of the Iturriaga brothers. I believe that is Aldo Iturriaga, if I'm not mistaken here. But Yeah, it's these guys have definitely showed us some really good racing action, and it's been super fun to watch, especially whenever you see the KA juniors out here, and especially with the prestige of this class now and the prestige of the drivers here, who are drivers you see kind of leading laps at national events. It's definitely always cool to see, and you can always expect some good racing.
Yeah, and one thing is that you had our two Swift classes go out just a moment ago. This is basically the next step in that order of steps to move up to the senior class. So it's these are those full-size carts that I was describing. I mean, this is the basic cart that you see everywhere on the streams. Full price, whatever. So, I mean, I'm just trying to sell it to the viewers. I'm trying to get more people on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, no, great, and be a salesman.
I might be a salesman.
Yeah, you could be. So again, if you want to sell something, sell some subscriptions later on.
It's $9.99 a month. I'm looking at Kart Chaser on YouTube.
Join, and we'd love to have you guys later on today, especially. There's going to be some really good races and some interesting main events that are going to define some championships, possibly, that are going to swing a championship one way or swing it another. So it'll be exciting to see. We're excited for it. We're ready for it, and it always starts slow and it builds and it builds and it builds all the way to the tippy top whenever we get into main event racing action at the end of the day, and it all ends off with our K100 seniors that all those guys are of high level and of very, very big prestige. So we're excited to see all that go. But here this morning, Sebastian Garzone, the quickest driver on the racetrack there, his teammate Juanjo Paramo, right ahead of David Ibarra, who currently sits just outside of the top 5 in 6th here. And as I say that, Luke Cruz has done a good job so far. Luke Cruz in the TB Kart South machine here has had a pretty good showing, and I believe could be one of his best weekends to date so far for Luke Cruz in the TB Kart South team as well. So good to see Luke out here. Him and obviously our very own Xander Clements and that entire TB Kart South team working together here. So good to see Luke out here again, and I mean very respectful. Luke, we're not that old. We're about 20 years old. You're 21. I'm 20, and to hear a young man like Luke say yes sir, and I'm like, dude, I am no older than you. I'm probably 6 years older than you max. Please do not call me sir. But again, I mean it's good to see that, and all these kids, especially all these boys and girls and whatnot, are definitely super respectful, and it's good to see that in the sport and those kids kind of moving up the ranks as well. So always cool, and just thought it was funny there by Luke yesterday. Myself and very young Riley Can, like, dude, we're just your age. We do the same thing you do, and maybe a little older now, but yeah, it's it's just it was funny in the moment because I don't see myself as a sir. I've done nothing. So
yeah.
But that being said, they continue to go around. Tyler Roberts as well had a good weekend. Has a good weekend so far. He finds himself second at the moment. And as I say that, he just went quickest, a 51.058. So Roberts has definitely done a good job, to say the least. And Tyrone Kemper Jr. kind of been struggling a little bit so far, but behind the 8-ball, Jackson Baldus and Easton Cox as well have had a pretty good showing this weekend and have done a good job as well. So they continue to go around. But I mean, Rocco, this field, who's kind of been the driver that surprised you the most and showed a lot of pace and put themselves in the fight here this weekend?
I mean, Roberts does a great job every weekend. Every time you see him at the track, he always just performs, and he's always at the front. I mean, we know Garzone is a very good driver from other series, coming here to help his team and just also have a good time and race himself. And but if I had to choose a driver, I would pick Roberts.
Yeah, Tyler Roberts has definitely been super impressive all weekend long for the Trackside Karting Services team, and he's been super impressive this morning. Takes the quickest lap and is on the top of the timing charts here, ahead of Sebastian Garzone and Nathan Golseth in third. And as well for me, Tyler Roberts has had a really, really good weekend and has impressed myself a lot. and showed his pace really well. So for me, Tyler Roberts, like you said, getting himself in the mix, getting his elbows out, getting out there and racing has definitely been super impressive to see, and super good to see as well. Him up there and becoming a race winning contender as well. For Nathan Golseth, his home track doing double duty here this weekend, showing some good pace as well. And for Ibarra and Parama and all these guys, this is where we expect to see them a little bit. But Luke Cruz as well, seeing him inside of the top 10, seeing him kind of take the fight to some of the top 5 has been really good to see. So that was that for your KA100 juniors on the racetrack now. I guess you could say our old class, the class we used to, our old stomping ground, we should say, around year 2 of 6 seniors on the racetrack.
Yeah, the class I'm trying to get back into.
Yeah?
Right now. It's, I mean, I guess because, just having a combo conversation, we could talk about 206 prices, because I'm a salesman now. But if you were looking to get into a more affordable way of racing, this is basically the pinnacle of that. It's just a very cost-effective way of racing. It's a little bit slower. It's a 4-stroke class, and it's a little bit easier on maintenance now. As you see, Reagan Seville may have a oil cap missing on the back of his engine. You see that smoke coming out the back.
It's either that or that's probably...
That's definitely an oil cap. I've seen that happen.
It's an oil cap for sure, or it could be a new exhaust wrap as well. I've seen that happen to new exhaust wraps. So it could be that as well. It is a lot of smoke coming out of the back of Reagan Seville here, and I know he had some issues yesterday where he was a little bit behind the 8 ball and wasn't as quick as maybe the MGMs of Bryce Frank and Kelvin Zing, but we're looking at it here now, and we're trying to get the closest angle of it, and
it's kind of diminishing. You might be right about that wrap.
It's close, and again, with the new exhaust wrap, it's obviously new, and it causes a lot of smoke at first because it kind of burns in and holds that exhaust pipe from actually burning yourself. It's not just pure metal out there, so it is gone now. So it could have been that new exhaust wrap, which we have seen in the past, or it could have been an oil cap as well. To me, if we're going to bet on this,
I think I'm on your side now.
I would take $20 on the exhaust wrap, and I'll take my $20 later.
Definitely would take that then.
We'll give you some lunch later on today with our nice food stands out here that actually provided us some good food yesterday.
Good price too.
It's a good price,
Good price.
This guy's you're over here trying to sell food now, dude. Goodness gracious. But yeah, they've everything around here. I mean, there's a lemonade stand, energy drink stand. There's a taco stand, a hamburger stand. And there's everything here, and we love to see it. And have like a little vendors village as well is super cool, as well as Studio 52. So if you guys have any photos that you want from the weekend, go to Studio 52 with Ken and his wife. They do a great job with their photos and sell all the packages and give you guys all the moments alive. And funny enough, one of my favorite moments of Studio 52 was myself and my cousin would obviously race back in the day, and we had no way to get all these tires to get mounted. So what we would do, we'd put them in our ankles, and we'd stack tires on our legs and stack tires on our arms and walk that way. And Ken's wife actually got a picture of it, and that picture is up on my wall now. And that's one of my favorite pictures, and I absolutely love it. And the fact that they get raw emotion and raw images like that is my favorite part about what they do. So again, if you guys want any pictures here this weekend or on site, and those around the paddock as well, Studio 52, the people to go to here this weekend, and get all your pictures from them, and they do an amazing job to get all those moments live and raw with all the emotion coming out of it as well. So huge shout out to Ken and his entire family who are out here this weekend. Out here every weekend actually with the Six-Man Racing Series. But again, back on the racetrack here, Blaze Dornbaum, some pretty good pace here this morning. A 57.055 this morning. Carter Kilgo in second, and Frank and Kelvin Zing at the bottom of the timing charts here. Not out on the racetrack now. Again, the left-hand side of your screen is set up for position, so with how they pass, with the moves that they make, this is how it moves up and down the order. But this will be obviously effective for the racing this morning. We're set up for the racing action, and the timing screen here is on my left. Blaze Dornbaum, the quickest driver on the racetrack there in the white helmet. Burrell Art Machine for the AR Academy. Right behind him is Jensen Harrell, who's also had some good pace this weekend and has had some pretty good pace throughout the year as well. So Jensen's done a really good job so far this year to kind of put himself in the mix, to put himself in the fight, and he surprised a lot of us at the IKF Grand National, being inside of the top 10, fighting with the top 5 as well. And at Crescent as well, he had some really good pace in this weekend, getting himself in the mix, fighting inside of the top 5, and taking the fight to those guys has definitely been great for Jensen Harrell. But the kid right ahead of him in the Burrell Art Machine with the red helmet, Carter Kilgo. This is a weekend where, you know, he found himself kind of in the mid-pack, trying to fight his way up into the elite pack earlier this year, but yesterday had his first win in his entire career at a club and regional, I guess you can say, event. It was at the DFW Triple Crown, the Metroplex event that goes on here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and Metroplex. And I know him and his dad, Gary, were absolutely ecstatic about that. And, you know, the first is always the best, and they love that feeling. And that kind of sparked a fire in Carter to kind of get it done again this weekend. But his teammates have been super, super quick as well. But huge shout out to Carter and his dad, Gary, out here this weekend with the AR Academy. Yeah, Reagan Seville, Jacob Oliver, all doing a great job. And good to see Noah Murphy back as well here this weekend. I think Seville and Oliver are still missing a little bit so far, and trying whatever they need to kind of get up there and figure out whatever they need to kind of find that last little bit of pace to get up to the MGMs.
I mean, you saw Reagan the other day in Heat 2. He got in that incident off the start of the race, so you know he has a bit of work to do as far as points go. But I talked to him the other day, and he was telling me how you know, Bryce is 70 points behind him for the championship, and he's really trying to close this thing out before round 5. So it's a bit more of work for him to do after yesterday, but we'll see if he can do it.
Yeah, I mean, again, whenever you go into any championship, you go into the last round wanting to kind of have that pressure off your shoulders. We heard Austin Garrison talk about it earlier this year. We heard about Talon Yako last year when he solidified the Star Championship Series trophy. I believe it was the second and last round, which was at Pittsburgh, if I'm not mistaken. And he solidified the championship there, and then you go into the last round with no worry in the world. You know, you could have the worst weekend of your life and still come out as a champion with a #1 plate for next year. And it's the same thing for Reagan Seville, right? This is a kid who moved up this year, and you know, we knew he was going to be quick right out of the box, but we know he was going to be this quick and win this much and win as much as he has. I mean, he had a great race at Crescent, had a great first race at NOLA, surprised myself, I think, the most. And to see him kind of race like a veteran, race out there like a true seasoned veteran of the 206 senior class, which is also hard to get the grips with, surprised me the most as well. And then seeing him over at AMP for the CKNA South event, fighting against the likes of Colin Warren and all those great 206 drivers was definitely great to see by Reagan Seville. But we'll hope he can do something today and have an answer for those MGMs that have been oh so quick by Bryce Frank and Kelvin Zing. So that's going to be it for your 206 seniors. Again, your K100 Masters coming out to the racetrack now, presented by High Five Performance. Like Miguel Mir, Marcus Stone leads the field now ahead of everybody else. But again, this field has had a pretty good showing this weekend. 20 drivers total, Rocco, and that's been, I think, the best showing that we've probably seen all year long. And it's super cool to see all these guys, all these guys, and all these men and women kind of go at it here, racing and going side by side and being respectful as well. Because that's the thing, you know. Being oh so close, we always mess around with the Masters till then. We're 4 years away, man. You're almost there and whatnot. But these guys, I mean, this is no joke. You know, these guys are fit. They're in the cart every week and racing, and you know, this is how they get off. This is how they disconnect from work, from the wife or the kids and whatnot. You know, believe it or not, it sounds bad, but you know, you come out here and race some go-karts. I think I'd do the same thing if I was married, divorced, with 2 kids and stuff like Mike Geeson said on Facebook that a while ago. But this is a good way to disconnect and to unwind. And a lot of these guys out here wrenching on their own and doing their own thing and being out here spending time at the racetrack like they were, you know, many years ago. It's nostalgic for a lot of these guys as well. And seeing them come out here and still race and provide us with some great racing has been super, super cool. And the accolades that this guy has here, Martin Stone, was on the Ricky Flynn Motorsports team when Lando Norris won the World Championships in 2016, I believe. It was a couple of years ago in the teams. I think it was maybe even further than that. But You see him this weekend, kind of paying homage to that as well with the livery, the Ricky Flynn Motorsports livery here this weekend, and showing some good pace. And as well for Brent Harper, who makes his return this weekend with the Kart Republic, racing under the DKC team here this weekend from Houston, Texas. Brent, actually, funny enough, I walked in the shop one day and at Speedsports Racing Park, was in there to I guess, speak to Alan Rudolph or whatever, and I see Brent Harper building a brand new Kart Republic, and that's the kart that he's driving now. So Brent has definitely, and funny enough, he's said that he hasn't made a single change to that kart. I believe he's made changes now because he was quick last weekend, and he's been quick so far, but just missing that little last bit to get up to Martin Stone. So good to see Harper out here and running right behind Stone, going a little bit. As well for Mark Caligaro, Miguel Mir, the entire Cruise Racing Development team, Anna Kozak, Evan Kozak, and more here this week. And good to see them out here and warming up as well. I mean, Rocco, I guess I'll ask you the question here. We asked Xander, I think late last night about it, if he was planning on doing Masters, and at what point would you do K100 Masters in the near future? Well, you have 9 years to go, but
I have 9 years. That's way too close, dude. Oh no,
I guess it is, man. But would you? That's the question, man. Would you get in there? Would you race?
I'd be really excited to race KM Masters. I mean, there may be, I don't know what answer Xander had. I mean, I bet he really enjoys the K senior class,
yeah.
But as much as it is fun for them, it's really fun to watch as well, because these drivers, I mean, they're very respectful. They're adults, the egos have kind of diminished, and, it's just a lot more thought out, respectful, and there's even banter sometimes. You can see some funny hand signals, like telling him to, just let off the gas and let me go through, or thumbs up, or, any sort of communication. So by the time I turn 30, I got 9 years. I'm going to have a lot of work to do to get those requirements done, and then I'll start racing.
Yeah, well, for sure. And I see the stewards in the comments as well saying their well wishes to Mike Geeson as well. So, for everybody as well. Our very own Deke Conine as well in the comments. So, say good morning to Deke, because he says good morning to you. So say it right back to our very own Deke Conine here this morning. As well, Austin Garrison, always super excited to be out here at the racetrack. Yeah, it's been a great morning so far. Again, this is our K100 Masters class, and the lap times right now starting to come in. How about that for Adamar Caligaro at 51.374. Brent Harper's in second, so a little bit of a mix-up early this morning. Martin Stone's in the third spot. Pierce Baldus is in fourth, now down to fifth. Evan Kozak up to fourth. So this is Miguel Mir and Martin Stone. Pierce Baldus is in the high five performance machine. Further back in the field, and we'll try and find Pierce Baldus here in a second. He's going through the last little hairpin now. He's also had a lot of pace, so shout out to Pierce Baldus this weekend as well. His son, he just had a baby 2 weeks ago, or not 2 weeks ago, sorry, 2 months ago, just about 8 weeks old. So congratulations to Pierce, who's racing for the first time as a dad. And said it's been quite difficult, because he has something to go back to, and huge shout out to him and his entire family this weekend and the High Five Performance team for that. Great. I guess it's great for Pierce, and super happy for him. And spoke to him a lot this morning, and Derek Proctor, and he was telling me how different it was to kind of race and to come back to, and how joyful and how almost stressful it's been as well to try and race and do them both at the same time. So huge congrats to Pierce Baldus. But coming up next, your 206 juniors here. We'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll catch up with the end of their session.
So you finally want to get behind the wheel, huh?
Yeah, I've been shooting for 3 years and I've never got to drive.
Well, you're going to need some more gear than just your helmet. Why don't you go to shopakr.com. They got their inventory online, and they'll ship it the same day if you order before 5:30 p.m. Eastern.
They got shoes?
Yep.
Gloves?
Yep.
Rib protectors?
Got those too.
Can they make me go fast?
No.
Here at Acceleration Kart Racing, we've got everything you need to get on track. What happens next? Well, that's on you. Check us out online at shopakr.com.
back on a racetrack action here as our 206 juniors and 206 heavies out on the racetrack, and it's getting a little bit wild here. One driver off the racetrack here in morning warm-up, and that's not where you want to be. The 309 there was off, and that's Green there, Braden Green, if I'm not mistaken, and indeed, sorry, Brandon Green. Goodness gracious, my apologies here. Brandon Green off the racetrack here, and funny enough, in the tower that we're in, the sun is actually beaming on our eyes right now, so kind of hard to see our screen here and read some of the numbers and read some of the names, so our apologies. When the sun rises up a little more, myself and Rocket Music will be a lot better, and that'll be, you know, it's growing pains, you know, this building. Maybe some tinted windows would be nice, or a pull down a sunscreen would be nice, would be nice as well. Or we could just invest in some sunglasses and you know, quit yapping about the sun being in our eyes, because that's really a first. Nonetheless, we could be outside working in the sun right now, like or racing. I mean, I'd love to be racing, but I wouldn't love to be racing this weekend because it is pretty hot. And yeah, definitely not fun. Actually, I could be racing this weekend. I am a little hurt, but we don't talk about that. We
Why don't we talk about that?
I guess we can.
It happened right there.
Well, I guess we can. Last weekend, actually, I was out here racing at the DFW Triple Crown that Mike Eddles runs, and Doug Hubbs as well, and that entire DFW Triple Crown team, so huge shout out to all of them. And it was, I guess, a warm-up weekend for this TSRS race. There was about 10 drivers in the 206 heavy class, and I knew I was working this week, and always when we go to a new track, I like to drive it to know what I'm talking about and to come in with an idea of what to expect and how it's going to race and whatnot, and I think I got too good of an idea of how it was going to race. I found out the bumps and all the curves and where you could go side by side and where you can't go side by side. So I guess we'll get into it now. You know, we're in full swing. So coming out of this corner, I'm in the lead actually, coming to the white flag. 2 laps to go, and I actually go side by side, kind of like these drivers are doing now. I was on the inside like they were there. Difference is I was ahead by quite some margin, and the driver in second was right on my rear bumper. So in my eyes, not halfway alongside me, but I tried, or to what I thought gave enough room. Anyways, ended up on my lid at the end of it. I flipped, sprained my wrist, a little bit of road rash, and that was my first flip. And I hope to never do it again, and I don't wish that upon anybody. But the way I like to put it, I mean, I'm no different than any other racer, right? We see this kind of thing happen. And
No,
we know
welcome
this
to an exclusive club of people who flipped a go-kart.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, but like I was saying, you know, we know this is one of the risks in our sport, and I always say it's something that can very well happen because of the sport we're in. But you know, it could have been a lot worse. But again, the safety of these karts, definitely. I mean, I saw firsthand how safe they are and what they do and why you wear a suit and
Why you don't wear a seatbelt.
Why you don't wear a seatbelt exactly, why you have a helmet on, and why we're Snell rated helmets as well, because that also does a lot. You know, it takes a lot of the impact off your head. My neck was completely fine, and I wasn't, you know, wearing a neck brace because it wasn't mandatory, but the suit obviously took a lot of the damage. I fell on my leg and completely fine, just a little bit of road rash on my arm obviously, but I mean, the safety of these karts as well is definitely has done a good job, and it has evolved in a way throughout the years that has made it safe for a lot of these drivers. And again, I don't wish to see a flip this weekend. I saw it happen last weekend with myself, and it's something scary. I mean, that's a whole different ballpark. But again, these are super safe machines, and I saw it firsthand. And we don't wear seatbelts because, you know, you don't want a go-karts land on top of you. And again, I promise you, if that go-kart would have landed on top of me, it would have been probably a lot worse, and maybe wouldn't even be announcing here this weekend. But it's all due to the safety of these things, and it's great to be back and to be here and to be walking around the paddock with a lot of familiar faces and whatnot that actually saw me last week. Like, dude, no way you're here. And I was like, yeah, man, I wouldn't miss it for the world. So, but yeah, it's always great, and a huge shout out to all the people that reached out and all the people that helped and were there as well to support and to give a hand with whatever I needed. So huge shout out to everybody who was there for me last week and throughout the week as well, sending messages and all the kind words. I really, really appreciate it. And I've also been getting some slander today. I've heard Flipper already. Crash was another one that I heard. So it's all fun and games. But I mean, again, this is something that can happen in our sport, and we see it happen, unfortunately, very often throughout some national events. But this weekend just happened to be me, and it happened to myself, and that's the risk that you go into it. But if you were to give me a go-kart to race today, I would get in there and definitely race. And I know, even I think it was the other day, you guys were going to go do some rental karts here alongside at the next track, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. So I got in there one-handed, drove with one hand, and then the competitive side of me came out, and I was just full gripping with both hands at the end of it because I was being so competitive. Passing each other, over-undering each other. I spun Xander around once, and he took me out the next corner. But it was a great time, and if I do it all over again, I probably flip again. I do that again, but I definitely do it all over again because I definitely go back and race if I had a kart this weekend, for sure. But we're out here working as the shifter drivers, going out there on the racetrack, and Cameron Reed, hand in the air. See if she has some sort of issue here. Seems to be all right. She is slowing. I think she does have some sort of issue. Something amiss on that CRG Nordam Reed Motorsports entry here. So the 99 slowing, and I think it's going to make her way into the pits. So again, very physical racetrack. I mean, Cameron doing double duty this weekend in 206 and in shifter. I mean, 206 feels like a walk in the park now compared to banging gears at about 70 to 80 miles an hour here this weekend on it's a super tricky racetrack and very, very unforgiving as well, Rocco. I mean, we saw it yesterday. Some shifter drivers dropping a tire and finding themselves in the barriers. So that's been, a big talking point as well. So it's interesting to see, and we've seen a lot go on as well. We saw Noah's Arsk and Vintage Trussard get together, unfortunately, yesterday at the end of heat race number 2. And they're out here back and going around today. There's ours for the Arcane Motorsports team here. And there you have Derek Proctor for the LSR High Five Performance team. So those two drivers out on the racetrack now. And for the back of the field, Jordan Musser out on the racetrack as well. Jordan has been picture perfect so far. Got the pole position, has got every single hole shot here, and has also won both of the heat races. So Jordan has definitely been the guy to beat so far. Two young guns here, and Alfred Alvarez and Castillo making his first shifter start on a rock, and I think Cameron Reed as well on a rock here this weekend. So there is a difference in package. A couple of drivers out there on rock powered machines, and a couple of others on KZ powered machines. So that is also a little bit of a difference in speed, and does have a little bit of a difference as well throughout some of these straightaways. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But a minute and 50 to go left in this session. We'll take you through the lap times quickly. It's Jordan Musser, as expected, at 46.873. Nicholas Boulay, he was also pretty quick yesterday, found himself with a good showing there. But Alfred Alvarez del Castillo finds himself in the wall in the Bulls. So that's a very strange place to find yourself, especially facing that direction. So something must have gone wrong there for Alfred Alvarez del Castillo to find himself that far up the bowl and out of this session. And I think he's wanting to get restarted, but going to have to probably wait here a moment as Jordan Musser is driving through.
Did you see Boulay's sticker kit? Is that a new sticker kit that he's running today?
So I haven't actually seen Boulay. So let's go and find Nicholas Boulay out here on the racetrack and see if he has a new sticker kit here today. So that's Noah's Arsk, Derek Proctor, Nicholas Boulay in an OTK machine, and I think indeed that is a new sticker kit. So that's that's a very good eye there, Rocco. That was a different sticker kit yesterday, but I don't know. I think I liked yesterday's a little bit.
Oh man, it matches his helmet. This is so much cooler, dude.
All right,
I like it. I don't know. Hey, you know what? To each their own. But I like yellow, and especially black and yellow. So I think it's a really cool color combo.
How does that song go? Black and yellow.
Black and yellow. Black and yellow. We're gonna get copyright strike now. Or?
Hey, maybe float like a butterfly, sting like a bee today for Nicholas Boulay. You see what I did there? So I did there. No pun intended here, guys. But there's Vincent Cassard right behind him here this morning. But yeah, getting some good nicknames here this morning, Rocco. We have Vincent Croissant right behind him, the Frenchman. And, yeah, it's been a good one.
Yeah, Vincent Gustard yesterday, we saw him have that unfortunate incident with Noah Zarsk coming through the final corner. And then later on in the race, we saw him in the tire barrier. I spoke to him afterwards about it. I don't know if you already mentioned the reason for that, but his steering column broke.
Yeah, he was telling
the
me.
fact.
Yeah, he was telling me yesterday. I was just outside on CRT Northern 10, and he was telling me that his steering column was very bent, and being I guess the way he put it, being the stubborn French that I am, I go out there and wanna put some laps in and finish this race, and he said I try to turn right, my wheel gets stuck, and I end up in the wall. So unfortunate there for Vinny, but he's out there on the racetrack and do a practice start here shortly and get going here into the pits. But checkered flag is out. Jordan Musser is the fastest driver on the racetrack. Vincent Cassard second. Nicholas Boulay third. Noah Zars fourth. And Derek Proctor fifth. Before we go out with our 206 cadets, we'll take one more commercial break. When we come back, your 206 cadets and your KA100 seniors. We'll be right back.
Brandon, why are there all these charges for just over $200 from Acceleration Kart Racing's website?
That's because AKR gives you free shipping on orders of $200 or more within the continental US.
Okay, but I thought you were just getting a pair of gloves. That's what, 70 bucks?
But if I'm getting a new pair of gloves, I might as well get a new pair of shoes to match. And then on top of that, I'll get a neck brace because with the shipping, it's basically free.
Yeah, I do not think the math checks out on that.
Everything you need, all in one place and shipped to your door for free for orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. Spend responsibly. Shop AKR.com.
If you want to see a giant selection of beautiful new dining room tables, chairs, service, come out to Gallery Furniture, see with the latest and greatest dining room furniture. Best of all, buy this dining room furniture today, solid wood. Gallery Furniture delivers free to Houston area home today.
Kyle, I need a new 219 chain. I need a 77 tooth sprocket. I need some more chain lube, and I need it probably as soon as like tomorrow. Dude, are you even listening? Like, we need this to run this weekend.
Want anything else?
What do you mean?
I already got it in the car on Acceleration Kart Racing's online store, bro. All orders over $200 get free shipping.
Oh, throw in a set of tires.
Done.
Everything you need, all in one place and shipped to your door for free on orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. Shop AKR.com.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
Parolin USA, a top-level performance team with unmatched hospitality, offering a full-service driver development program with year-round testing available in Miami, Florida, and the official North America racing team of Parolin Racing Chassis. Chassis and parts available at ParolinUSA.com.
action. As our 206 cadets are out on the racetrack now. And Royce Vega and Dutch Westbrook working together here on the main straightaway. Yeah, it's been a good session so far for all these 206 cadets. Westbrook and Vega working together and going side by side there. Tyler Morwick, Marshall Steves, two of the Trackside Karting Service GFCs. And you have a couple of the CRG Nordam MSL entries. The Massimo Sanchez Lara team with Tanner Barsh, Theo Mitchell, and Benjamin Osborne. And Simon Jack Klein with SLA. Tyler Blackwood with High Five Performance here this weekend. So speaking of that, I should actually probably update that logo and that chassis because I did my work this morning, Rocco. I went over there and I figured out what I was missing here. So I'll input that here shortly. But again, it's great. This is a cool new feature. Having some team logos next to the names here is super cool with safeties.
Yeah, it can also help you identify teammates. Let's say for the Trackside Karting Services team, you know, you have a bunch of their drivers out there. You have these two Binnick drivers up in the top. You can see their logo on the top of the timing board as Morwick actually goes down the inside of Vega there. So a bit of pace looking from Morwick early in the morning here because Vega's a very quick driver. So, I mean, he might be letting off a little because I see Westbrook just kind of pulling away in the distance. But no, I mean, Vega definitely seems back underway on the bumper of Morwick. So, I mean, they're just out there warming up. It's a good, it's definitely a good thing to have this warm up because you saw Cameron Reed the session earlier with an issue at the start of the session. So, I mean, that's why you do a warm up. You don't want to go out for your Heat 3 or even your final and find out that something's wrong with your car and you can't even start the race. So that's why we do this so early in the morning. Still on your screen, potentially our fastest drivers of the weekend as we try to find some new drivers here. I believe that is Tanner Barsh and that CRG there. So yeah, I mean, 1 more minute left of this warm-up session. You know, it's a pretty uneventful. As I say that, we get some racing through the first turn.
You see, that's why you don't say uneventful ever in
actually,
racing warm-up or
you jinx
session.
it and then it happens. That's why you say that.
Exactly. So I'm gonna say, you know, they're gonna have a super boring race on today. It's gonna be probably the craziest race we've ever seen. You know, I hope. Speaking of, I hope every race is boring today.
Yeah.
There's no boring
passes.
day. I hope this day is the worst. It would suck if that actually happened. I'd be really mad if that actually.
It's just a one-card breakaway.
I'd go home before KAC. Yeah, that would be. You know, we love racing and we love being out here, but it's even better being out here and watching some good racing, and it makes the day fly by like nothing. So. You know, we want to get some good racing. We want to see whoever's in second take the fight up to the guy in first and not let him run away. And you know, that's what we want to see. But again, we're in the entertainment business, so obviously we're going to want to entertain and want to be entertained, to say the least. But that being said, for your 206 Cadet presented by Rimrock Raceway, Royce Vega, Tyler Morwick, the fastest 2 drivers here this morning. Dutch Westbrook 3rd, Marshall Steves 4th, Theo Mitchell 5th, Tanner Barsh 6th, Benjamin Osborne 7th, Micah Massad 8th, Mace Lajesic 9th, Wyatt White rounds up your top 10 here this morning. In a couple of moments' time, your K100 senior is going to head on to the racetrack here. Going to go quiet on the airways for a second I believe I am looking for confirmation here, but is there going to be split groups for your KA100 seniors here in warm-up? If we are yet to find out. And I will find out as soon as we get confirmation. Funny enough, race director Matt actually standing alongside me here now, so we are not splitting warm-up groups. So no warm-up split in the K100 senior class. All 36 going to go out there on the racetrack, going to have to play nice, give themselves some room, and let themselves, I guess, go and work together just that little bit. So we look here onto the grid. On your left, Preston Pico for the Trackside Karting Services GFC team, and on your right, Xander Clements with a TB Kart South team, and with the I guess Kart Chaser LLC team as well this weekend, part-time, you know, doing some audio and whatnot. That guy doesn't stop working, so good to see him doing well this morning. As well, turned 26 yesterday, so again, happy birthday to him. 4 years closer to Masters, obviously, like we talked about. A lot of work to do for him in 4 years' time, like you said yesterday, Rocco. So I get to see him back out, and he actually had a good showing yesterday. You know, we always we're always pulling his leg or whatnot, but I mean, you know, we always say he's washed or whatever, and people around the paddock tell him, but 14 spots gained after starting dead last was pretty good. I mean, I'll give credit where credit is due, and it was a pretty good showing. 14, he went, I believe, 36th to 14th and 36th to what was about 15th or 16th. So, I mean, if you tell me that was quite all right.
Yeah, what could have been if his qualifying didn't have that gremlin with the transponder,
Yeah.
you know, because
Yeah,
he
for
has
sure.
a lot of pace in that TB cart. So, I mean, he's doing exactly what he needs to do just to, you know, rack up some points and try to start from the midfield at least so that he has a better chance of catching those leaders because, you know, the leaders fight really hard in this class. And if he has a great start from the midfield and he's able to get up to that front group, he has all the means to fight up for that win, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. So that's pretty much been it for Xander Clements. Landon Skinner right behind, then not too far back, has been the driver who has impressed us all year long for the Trackside Karting Services GFC team. And that young man has definitely showed some great pace. He's just behind in the white cue ball helmet. Skinner, I mean, he's had a really good year so far, but that hasn't translated here this weekend. He had a gremlin, and they felt like they missed it a little bit in the qualifying session. So Skinner was behind the 8 ball, and today he showed his pace throughout the heats. Like Xander has had to work his way to the top 10 in every single one of the heat races. So he thinks by the time the main event's going to roll around, that's going to be his first real shot to get himself up there in the championship. As well for JD Lamping, who makes his return here this weekend with the TV Kart South team, and makes his return to what's set to be a full year in the KA100 senior category next year with the TV Kart South team, and the full rest of the year this year with them as well. So good to see JD back in the kart as always. And right behind Xander now, Buddy Vasquez Jr., who had really good pace yesterday. Buddy, I mean, to say the least, that kid was absolutely flying at the end of the day yesterday and had really good pace. If you talk about flying, it was Jake French in the qualifying session. That man, you know, he announced his retirement a couple of years ago, back in 2022, took 2023 off, and, you know, quickly realized that he wanted to get back in it. Got the project from his very own Billy Musgrave. You know, we know very well, seeing him very often, and wanted to develop a single-speed chassis. Jake did a lot of testing and raced a whole lot, and then at the start of this year decided to put his team together here in the grand state of Texas. Jake French Racing with the factory kart chassis, and has showed the pace on it, to say the least. And you know, you talk about I guess washed allegations or whatnot, and the older guys in the field. This veteran right here hasn't skipped a beat, absolutely flying all weekend long. And I mean, he looks 17 all over again in that go-kart, I guess you could say. But I mean, the older that you get, and this was a really good point that a man like Sean Bailiff made to me a while ago. You know, the older that you get in karting, you know, people think that 26 is old. People think that 28 is old, or that 21 is even old nowadays. But you know, I guess the older you get in this sport, and the more that you race, you gain a lot of experience. You gain a lot of maturity, and that's where you really shine. That's where you thrive. You see kind of a guy like Jake French. He's not driving desperate. You know, he's not driving and making half moves, and he's not driving and risking, you know, everything in the first corner. You know what I mean? And he's showing kind of how to tone it back just a little bit, how to be mature, how to bide your time, and when you're in it, you're in it, and when you're not in it. Unfortunately, because a guy like Jake French, he's been there. He's been at the tippy top in his career, and you know, won Pro Tour races and almost everything under the sun. And as well for a guy like Luke Lang and Luke Pagano, who make their return this year with a DKC team. As well, guys that are older in this class, but these are the guys running at the front. These are the guys that are running up at the front that are, you know, battling with some of the younger guys who maybe have less experience, as we see Bryce Frank for the CRG Nordam AR Academy CRG machine off the racetrack with gremlins early this morning. So unfortunate there for Frank, because Will makes his first start in K100 senior on the year. But with a guy like Luke Lang, Luke Pagano, Clements, French, and a lot of others that are, you know, veterans in this class, they're showing their pace, especially for Pagano. You know, yesterday was inside of the top 3, was inside of the top 5, was battling with the likes of Aiden Rudolph. And even drivers like that, they're still learning, they're still growing, and for having guys like Louis, having guys like Luke, like Jake, to kind of mentor and to, guide the next generation has been a testament to everything that these drivers are doing. And as we say that, and as we give our well wishes, Jake French just set the fastest lap of the weekend, a 49.900. He's a whole 0.3 of a second quicker than Peyton Phillips here this morning. Aiden Rudolph sits in the third spot. Dallas Dunlap in fourth. Then you go back to Louis Pagano in fifth, Buddy Vasquez Jr. in sixth, Cohen Summers in seventh, Joey Friend in ninth, Clements now in ninth, Landon Skinner down in 10th. So a lot of pace. A lot of these guys, and we talk about the maturity, we talk about the level, and we talk about the experience what these guys have. I mean, that stigma, I think, in a couple of years is definitely going to go away, that you're too old to be racing go-karts at 28, 29. I mean, Louis Pagano is 1 year away from the Masters stuff. We mess around with Xander and whatnot, but a guy like Louis Pagano with the experience, with the Supernats accolades that he has after taking that win in X30 Pro back in 2016 has definitely showed he hasn't skipped a beat. But that being said, your KA100 seniors are done and dusted, presented by CRG. This is round number 4 of the Texas Sprint Racing Series, the Midsummer Mashup. That was it for our free coverage of the weekend. Warm-up done and dusted. It's getting set to go racing here in a couple of moments' time. Heat race number 3 and the main events coming your way shortly. If we see you on the other side, we'll wait for you there. But if we're going to lose you here, we'll see you soon. And from all of us here at Kart Chaser, we'll see you on the other side.